Greetings and welcome to episode 35 of Change Your Focus, a mindfulness podcast designed to inspire and center you. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I am also here inspiring you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. As I have been reminding you all, this month is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And as I reflect on September and my journey with sickle cell, I am grateful to be thriving, healthy, whole, and healed. It is a journey that I am so grateful for because it has made me a warrior, facing health challenges head on, fighting skillfully and willingly to make a difference in a prejudiced healthcare system that treats sickle cell patients unjustly, as if we are seeking drugs when we go to the ER, when really all we want in our moments of crisis is relief from our pain. Like anyone else with a terminal illness, sickle cell disease has opened my eyes to various healthcare systems and caused me to be curious about holistic healing, all natural healing practices, and additional healing practices outside of Western medicine. And if it weren't for this sickle cell diagnosis, I can say I wouldn't be a warrior. I wouldn't have discovered that only me and divine are responsible for my prognosis. And I probably wouldn't be a winner. So, as this is the end of September and reflecting back on all that we've done, the goals we set, who we become in this month, I hope that you took this month to become more curious about sickle cell disease, if this is maybe new to you, and the other things that we're highlighting this month, like Yoga Awareness Month. Maybe you became curious about that. And any other thing that I shared the first Monday of this month about September, right? And what we're celebrating, childhood cancer prevention. Hopefully you became curious about those things and learned a little more. So last week, I talked about compassion and how learning compassion is filled with lessons of love, life, understanding, care, and connection. When we feel connected to others, it's easy to be empathetic and practice compassion. Also, when we accept and love our own humanness, we can forgive and be compassionate with ourselves. I shared my story of a wake-up call I received to release perfectionism and embrace compassion for my flawed human self. So, if you found my story inspiring or the meditation enlightening, or if any of the information was fruitful, please share. Also, if you have any questions about the episode or would like coaching to support you in being more compassionate with yourself and or others, please click the Calendly link in the description or message me on any social platform at Integr8 Lyfe. I would love to support you. So let's get right in. Today's episode is about winning. Now, I invite you to contemplate this quote by Black American Pulitzer Prize winner, poet, memoirist, and civil rights activist, Maya Angelou. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. When I contemplate this quote by Maya, I think about every time I felt defeated. I faced what seemed to be like many defeats: being diagnosed with sickle cell disease at 2, being told at 6 that I would not live past 12, facing many health challenges and various diagnoses due to living with stress from misaligned life, from a misaligned life paired with sickle cell disease. So already having this disease and then doing things that were misaligned caused stress in my life. And that stress led to many other diagnoses and diseases within my body. And then I've shared filing for divorce at 30, I have not talked about this, but having to rebuild my credit and financial stability after the divorce, and losing friends along the way to becoming who I am purposed to be, dating beneath my worth, which I shared last episode, or settling due to tarnished self-worth, feeling unfulfilled in relationship and hopeless in the possibility of ever aligning with my beloved. And I've not shared this, being estranged from my sister. All these seemingly defeats. And looking back on all of them, I realized I may have felt defeated, but I was never defeated. I've always risen from the ashes like a phoenix. I also realized I needed those challenges to build strength, courage, become devoted to myself, focus on my health, and being well, thriving in life, to become more responsible, to establish a sense of dignity, to know who I am beyond the conditioned beliefs and what I most value instead of what I was taught to value, which I have shared these lessons and my stories about this. To know that no matter how low I feel, I can, have, and will maintain my integrity. It is each situation that showed me more of who I was, not because I just professed to be that person, but because I had been put to and through the test and came out stronger, better, wiser. So let's look at the various ways I felt defeated, as I mentioned earlier. One, I felt tired. I felt tired. If you've ever been there, enduring a situation for longer than the intended time for you, it's a wake-up call to say, what am I meant to learn so I can move on? I felt tired battling with sickle cell disease and being tired of having to spend lots of money on health care and getting well over and over again. And so I was like, something has to give, something has to change. And I asked God and I declared I would never have to pay for that type of care again. I only wanted to pay for preventative care, natural, holistic means of staying well and healthy so I wouldn't have to spend money in the aftermath, right? After getting ill or being sick. And I became a true warrior, fighting through sickle cell disease and other health challenges, pulmonary hypertension, asthma. I had a cholecystectomy at 27. I was diagnosed, which I didn't share the diagnosis before. I said I didn't want to put that out there into the atmosphere. And then I realized, well, if I'm here to inspire people, maybe you received this diagnosis and you should know that it's not a death sentence and you can reverse it and you can heal it. Find out the information, talk to your health practitioners. Again, this is not advice from me, this is simply my story. But be hopeful and know that you can heal your body through anything. That is the beautiful thing about our body. So I will mention it in this episode. Osteoporosis, I was diagnosed at 40 with that. And if you know anything about sickle cell, you know for women, we are at higher risk of getting that. And again, having this diagnosis to heal myself from all of these diagnoses by choosing to learn about alternative holistic healing practices, eating right for my blood type, and Ayurvedic dosha, meditating, practicing yoga, and other physical activities that are perfect for my mind, body, spirit type. So, although I have this sickle cell disease, and yes, I am open to perhaps getting other diseases as I daily practice mindfulness and do the things that benefit me, mind, body, spirit, eat the way that's best for me, mind, body, spirit, exercise, or engage in physical activity that's best for my mind, body, spirit type, then I feel better. I'm able to prevent a lot of the health challenges that could come my way. And I am able to thrive with sickle cell disease. So I'm not defeated. I have not been defeated. And in fact, I have defeated those other health challenges that I mentioned that came along my journey. And I'm grateful for them again because they've made me stronger and they have made me a warrior. So may you be encouraged in your journey. Loneliness is another thing that showed up for me in addition to being tired of grappling with health issues and caused me to change how I was doing things. It was a wake-up call for me. So feeling lonely, I had no idea I was as strong as I was until I lived with a man and felt more alone in partnership than actually living and being alone. I was and have always been pretty excited and happy alone without a partner, just living the single life. And when this man, when I was younger, came into my life and professed that he was the person for me, great. Then I said yes. I mean, we dated for at least 3 years before we got married. And I I said yes to the proposal. I knew he had told me at least that I was his prototype, is what he said, and he would say because we went to elementary school together. And we never dated in elementary school, but later we reconnected. I was in grad school, he was in undergrad, and we reconnected. And I built a friendship with him and we got married. And I've talked about this in some of the previous episodes, how seeing my parents and their partnership, I had an expectation, I guess, or a way that I thought marriage should be and feel and look like, and definitely what I wanted my husband to be and feel like for me and do. And so I was bringing a lot to the table. I shared this, right? Had a great job, had many things already before I met him, bought a house, all these things. And so when I got in partnership, I thought he would match me, right? He would be bringing these things to the table or at least work on them. And these are things that we talked about. And he agreed. However, when we got married, that's not how he showed up. He didn't show up at all as if I was his prototype, which is what he said. So it sent me into a state of depression, and I didn't recognize myself. I endured mainly emotional and verbal abuse from him. And that's not to say that it's it's not an excuse. Um, it's just something that I endured. I typically don't like to share this because I don't want to cast him in a negative light. However, it is my truth. And I've steered clear in many of these episodes, right? And just keeping it surface level as that's concerned. And also, there is my truth. And a part of that is just being able to admit it and say it. And for so long, I kept those things to myself. I didn't even tell my family when I was in the marriage or initially when I got the divorce that these are some of the things that I endured because I was still trying to cover him or protect him, what we learn in religion. The religion that I grew up in is to like cover your partner. And so that's what I did. And so enduring these things, not feeling like myself, keeping all this in, having no one to talk to because he didn't want to go to counseling. So I was literally just bearing all this on my own. And that became a heavy burden. And I did feel defeated because I felt like I have no way out. I don't have anybody to talk to about this. I'm not feeling like myself. I don't even recognize me. I'm enduring this stuff from this person who's supposed to be my partner, who says they love me. I'm the prototype. So if I'm everything that you say, then why aren't you showing up for this marriage to be the partner that we discussed we both wanted and needed in partnership? So, and then there were also, which I definitely never talk about this, but there were two instances of physical abuse. And again, kept those things to myself because it was for me to know. However, I can share that story and I do feel safe sharing that now and know that it's okay because it is what happened and it is what it is. I learned my lessons and I am stronger, better, wiser after that relationship and divorce. Learned so much about myself, and in it, I endured immense loneliness, right? Not being able to share all that was going on with someone, a counselor, family, loved one, somebody, and being able to get advice. So I had to go inward. I really had to go inward. And I journaled a lot. I always have. And it was in the journaling that Divine spoke to me, and I was able to see that this was not the life Divine had for me. And I was not meant to be in this low place. That wasn't it. And that's what helped me release some of my beliefs around divorce that I was taught through Christianity, that it was a sin and all these things. I was able to release that and find truth and know that God has greater for me. I don't have to be in this marriage with someone who is not here for me, who's not showing up for me, who's contributing to loneliness. I literally felt like I was doing the marriage alone. And so that's not to say that he didn't do anything because there were things that he did. It's just he didn't show up in the way that a partner we discussed, we agreed on before we got married would. And so that is the really big thing. So being tired was a wake-up call for me, being lonely and not recognizing who I was anymore. And then the financial struggle. My credit was the lowest it had ever been after my divorce. And I spent lots of money taking care of our household because, again, he could have, but he chose not to show up in that way. And so taking on debt, all of which I reflected back on and was able to clarify with myself and God on what I actually wanted in a partner in marriage if the opportunity ever presented itself again. And so, as you know, Divine has been so faithful. Not only did I get the opportunity, it did present itself again, but it was everything, and it has been, and it is everything I prayed for and more. And I would not have even known what to ask for and believe I was worthy of had I not been in a marriage and experienced loneliness, depression, financial decline. And being in that marriage brought me down in many ways. And I learned so much about myself. I learned how strong I really am. I learned so many things about finances, and I was able to, within a span of, I'm going to say a year, was actually really quick, was able to turn my financial situation around, rebuild my credit. And it felt really good. I was like, yeah, I can do this. And then I remembered that woman who I was before I got married, who was happily single, thriving, doing the things that I wanted and I set out to do in my life. And it felt really good. So in that situation, like the phoenix, I rose from the ashes. And then worthlessness is something else that I grew through, feeling worthless or unworthy, knowing that I have these ideas, I have these goals, I have these dreams. However, there's a disconnect there. There's some self sabotage going on, and learning, oh, this has to do with me not feeling worthy of these things, which I have shared some of these stories in some of the beginning episodes on this podcast about that, recognizing, oh, this is about worth for me, and learning that. And a lot of that worthlessness came after my divorce because, again, like I've shared, even though he professed and said I was the prototype, having to file for divorce, which again I chose, it doesn't mean that you don't feel any less hurt or loss or any of that just because you're the person who chooses to walk away or file for divorce. I felt all of that because, again, he chose not to show up. And I really internalized that. And for a long time, I took that on until I learned to release and know that that wasn't about me. None of that was about me. That was about him and his journey and his story. And then me realizing, well, he couldn't show up for me, for us, or this marriage because he couldn't even show up for himself. And those are some of the regrets that after our divorce he lived with and caused him to be so mean or um, harmful or use certain words with me or even nasty after the marriage ended because I assume, I don't really know. I just know how he acted with me after. But I just think, okay, if I had something that I always wanted was a prototype and I didn't show up for, I would be so mad at myself. And I would be beating myself up and saying, well, why didn't you show up for this thing that you say you really wanted? And so, again, anywho, that's him. So coming back to me and me realizing that this is not about me. I don't have to make this about me to say like I was married to this man who didn't show up for me. I'm not worthy of people showing up for me. Like literally that was the story I was playing in my head and I was telling myself about things and partnership and relationship and not thinking that I was worthy when really, again, through a self-love, self-like, a healing journey, I learned that, again, that was his story. I didn't have to take that on. I only have to do my work in this and look at how I showed up and the things that I did that were not the best and how I could be better and how I wanted to show up in future situations and what kind of wife I wanted to be if the situation presented itself again. And so that was my healing journey to actualizing my worth, is letting go of what I made be about me that was about him. So I hope that is clear and makes sense to you. What else? So we have tired, we have loneliness, we have financial struggle, and then feeling worthless. So that's 4. What else? I know there's something else that I wanted to mention. Oh, yes. So to this worthlessness, because I'm not finished with that. So afterwards, it took a series of me dating and realizing, and friends saying this, which I've mentioned this on here, that I wasn't dating up to my level. There was some settling going on in a few of those relationships. And so I had to just stop dating altogether and really do my soul searching, my healing journey, and listen to what divine was telling me and learn to like me, like really like me, like the person I see in the mirror, like the way I talk, like the way my hair looks. This is when I decided to cut my hair and wear my natural hair. I'd cut it before, but I was still straightening it and wearing wigs and all these things. And I decided to release all of that and really embrace all of me, my natural beauty, the way I thought, the way I spoke, the way I laughed, all these things that sometimes I kind of felt insecure about. And so once I went on that journey of really liking me, loving me, and understanding the kind of person that I am, I became who I wanted to be in partnership. And I became in love with my own reflection, seeing all of me from the inside out and becoming a person who I would want to be with. And I took a few courses from relationship coaches and really helped me reflect and go deeper and say, well, yeah, am I the person who I'm looking for is looking for? Am I a person that I would want to be with? And becoming that person has helped me actualize my beloved partner. And not only is that, but like no one accept my worth. I had to get to that before I could actualize him. And so that's the lesson and the wisdom for me is becoming the person before the person who I desired showed up so that I would recognize him. I would see him and I wouldn't be repelled by who he was because I hadn't learned to love and like those things within myself. And so again, once I'm learning and liking me and knowing my worth and seeing all of me, when I see those things in him, it doesn't trigger me because it's like, oh yeah, I do that thing. I see me. I see me and you. And sometimes we'll be sitting on the couch or just wherever and we're looking at each other, shaking our heads. And we already know. It's like, yeah, that person is so much like me. And it feels really, really good to be able to see that in another being, but most importantly, to know that I learned to like and love that in me so that I can fully like, accept, and love that in him. It's been a beautiful journey. And so it hasn't been all bad. I've had a lot of fun along the way. As I say and I share many times, it has been a fun journey, learning more of who I am through these, again, seemingly defeats. It's been fun. So that's the other lesson is to have fun in this journey. All of it, we are meant to be learning. So have fun. And then the last one, which I have not talked about. And so this will be my first time sharing this story. And this is about rejection. I've shared rejection as it pertains to my relationship with my biological father. However, there was an added piece or component of rejection in my childhood, and that was from my estranged sister. So we grew up, and she taught me a lot about rejection from childhood. In addition to, again, the rejection from my biological father, I felt rejected by her growing up, and our relationship was always one where I felt unsure of myself. And I used to want her to like me. I used to wonder, like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I am a fun person. I'm cool. I'm loving. I'm kind. I'm thoughtful. I'm giving. I was a people pleaser. So it's like, how could you not like me? I'm doing all the things to people please. And she clearly saw that and didn't like that people pleaser in me. And I don't know what else, but yeah, I was a really kind, meek little girl because of sickle cell disease. And also, there was an inner strength that a lot of people saw before I actualized that in myself. Well, granted, I may have been the annoying younger sister. However, I now know I did not deserve to be treated like she treated me. And it took me a long time to realize that and say that and get that. And so Divine sent me on a journey so I could learn that. And I learned that in other relationships with other females that I would meet. And I also know how it feels to have a younger sister who looks up to you. I thank Divine for making it that way so I could see and learn how to give her what I desired in a big sister, and also for me to see that, oh, it's not hard to be kind to someone who is looking up to you. It's a choice to choose to reject them and be mean and unkind for your entire childhood, right? Like that is a choice that she was making, and to be able to see that and know, okay, I developed some unhealthy habits with women as a result of that relationship. This really set the tone for how I would go on to build friendships with other misaligned girls and later women as I grew up. As I mentioned, I lost many friends along the way, and I felt alone and rejected by them. While I wanted them to like me just as I wanted my sister to like me, I finally learned that the only person who has to like me is me. And that's it. And so that really helped me stop getting into these misaligned friendships with people, and then later feeling rejected when they weren't the right people to be associated with anyway. However, I realized Divine was continuing to bring me those situations so I could learn it. And I would say that that probably took me the longest to learn. When I look at how long I've been grappling with this and having these different misaligned friendships and people come and go and dealing with that rejection, yeah, I had to learn that many times. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I was like, okay, well, you can stop people pleasing. You like you. And then you realize you're enough. And then you will stop people pleasing and you will find your tribe. So before getting there, I had to grieve the absence in my life and really heal like all these friendships that would come and go. One day on my healing journey, about 3 years ago, I decided to finally release this hope and desire to be closer to my sister. And I chose to finally prepare myself to grieve her absence so I could move on with life. And again, I was no longer going to be worried about anyone who could care less about me, who had rejected me in all of my misaligned relationships, who had rejected me since childhood. And in doing this, again, I learned the lesson finally that Divine was trying to teach me in all of these misaligned friendships. And I realized it was connected to that relationship with my sister. Go alone, beloved. Go alone until you find your tribe, your people, your chosen family. Like that was a lesson. And I learned it. I'm so glad. And it is okay to be alone. And in fact, I do value and like my alone time. And also, I like quality friendships where I can be my authentic self, where I feel safe being my authentic self instead of being ridiculed or talked about or laughed at the things that make me different, and know that I found a tribe that we all share the same weirdness, and that feels good and safe. And so, again, I said that was about 3 years ago where I finally was able to heal all that. It was gradual steps along the way, but the major thing that really just solidified this and wrapped this up was, yeah, really coming to terms with that with my older sister and being okay with being estranged, and know that Divine has always and will always be ordering my steps and trusting that and loving me and liking me and aligning with my chosen family. And a story I think about, which I shared with my dad a few years back, maybe it was like 6 years back, when she and I had another sort of disagreement, and she wasn't talking to me, and my dad mediated for us. And I just shared with him a story. I don't know if it was before the mediating session or after, but I was like, because he's a Christian, I had to make this story relatable for him. But I was said, just look at Jesus, right? He left his family and found a chosen family that practiced the things he practiced and lived the way he wanted to live, and people he felt safe and good around. And so when he was questioned about, his family, and he literally said like that that that's his blood family. Like, that's these people here that I've chosen to be with are more my family than the family that I came here with. So once we can know that truth, if perhaps you have people in your family that have not felt good and safe for you, who have taught you lessons on how to not love yourself and not know your worth and create all these unhealthy habits, then may you know that it's okay to release them, let them go in love and light. Send them positive energy. Forgive them and forgive yourself for continuing to put yourself in that situation and maybe misalign with other people who mirror them and look like them, so you could get that lesson and move on. Move on. It's a beautiful thing when you know that I get to choose who I want to be around and who feels good to me and who I want to talk to and who feels fine and who I want to love and who can receive my love and who feels safe. So that is the wisdom, the lesson. Know that I know that I don't have to fit in or try to be liked by others or pretend I like doing things that I actually don't, just to be included, even by family. I have a choice. I did so many things that I didn't want to do when I look back on, just to be included in things. That's like, that's not me. That wasn't me. I didn't really want to do that. However, I wanted to be liked. And so I did it. And so again, just recognizing all these things, I became comfortable with myself and found new social groups, which I've shared some of these groups on here with you all, that again felt really, really good to me and healing to my soul. So my prayer for you is that you find your tribe, your people, your chosen family, so that you can feel good and safe and flourish being your authentic self. Every trial, every challenge, every low place I found myself in, somehow I found the strength to change my believe in myself, muster up the courage, face the challenges head on, and come out stronger, better, wiser. I have never lost because I do not believe in losing. I am always winning because I am always learning the lessons divine intended for me to learn from each situation and challenge. So my lesson for you is that you could never lose. If you maintain the mindset that you are learning, if you understand that somehow something greater than us all resides in you and wants only the best for you and is interceding on your behalf for your good, then you realize all is happening for your good and in your best interest. You can never be defeated. You are not defeated. You rise from the ashes like the phoenix because you are strong, you are determined, and you are worthy of fighting for your life. Every challenge is an opportunity for you to build resilience, learn, and be courageous and be open and practice what you say you believe. Or if that belief is no longer aligned, then adopt a new belief that supports your desires to expand, elevate, have peace, experience love, joy, harmony, and well-being. So in this moment, I would like to guide you through a brief mindfulness practice to support you in accessing your inner warrior, the winner inside of you. And before we begin our breath work, I invite you to sit on the floor cross-legged or in a chair with your feet flat on the floor to ground yourself. Your spine will be straight and your neck an extension of your spine. And once you are in this comfortable position, close your eyes and place your hands on your stomach. And we will engage in what I call deep belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. Again, both hands are on your abdomen and your eyes are closed. And as you inhale, your stomach will expand. And as you exhale, your stomach will contract. Stay connected to this expanding and contracting in your abdomen. Breathing slowly and deeply. And notice what happens in your body as you are breathing into your abdomen. The only thing that should be moving is your belly, not your chest or your shoulders. Only breathing into your abdomen deeply and slowly, taking your time. Notice how you feel as you breathe deeply and slowly. Becoming aware of what's happening in your body. And relax your jaw and continue breathing into your abdomen. And any other spaces where you might be holding tension, maybe in between your eyebrows, simply relax those places in your body, continuing to breathe deeply and slowly into your abdomen. Now notice a bright light inside of you, right in your chest. Notice what color that light is and see it begin to sparkle and shimmer and slowly fill your entire body. This light beaming from your chest is now filling your entire body. Now I want you to recall all the places in your life where you feel defeated. Bring all of those situations up, whatever it is. Maybe it's a situation only concerning you and no one else. Maybe it's a situation concerning others. Simply see those situations that are causing you to feel defeated. And as you see them, tune into that bright light that originated in your chest. The bright light within you, whatever color it is. And ask this light, what are you trying to teach me in these challenging situations? What would you like me to learn? And listen. Listen to each response from within. Acknowledge what divine is trying to teach you. And then ask, what would you have me do with these situations? And listen. And then ask, who would you have me become as I rise from all of this? It is all medicine. It is all here to teach you, to help you become more of who you desire to be. Then ask for assistance by saying, please help me rise and come out of these circumstances, feeling better, stronger, wiser. Please help me rise and come out of these circumstances, feeling stronger, better, wiser. And receive the support from divine. See yourself like the phoenix rising from the ashes, confidently walking out of the fire, stronger, better, wiser, and undefeated. And then thank divine for all the support you received and continue receiving. Say thank you. And slowly return to your breath as you thank yourself for showing up for you. Thank the light within for guiding you. And again, thank divine for fully supporting you in all the seemingly defeating circumstances. And take the deepest breath you've taken all day. And when you are ready, I invite you to slowly return to the space by feeling the seat beneath you and opening your eyes when you are ready. Today, I invite you to journal what showed up for you, what color your guiding light was, how you felt, what you learned, and anything else that came up for you during our meditation. Now, to complete our mindfulness session for today, please affirm by repeating after me. I am learning, elevating, expanding, and always winning. I am a winner. Good. Let's say that again. I am learning, elevating, expanding, and always winning. I am a winner. Great. One last time. I am learning, elevating, expanding, and always winning. I am a winner. Beautiful. That brings us to the end of our session. May you enjoy integrating mindfulness into your life daily. I invite you to breathe deep often and contemplate all the ways you can be more in tune with your guiding light and know that you are a winner. You can never be defeated, beloved. Remember, mindfulness is always available to you every minute of every day. May you use each minute to be mindful. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I am also here inspiring you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. Next week and for the following 2 weeks, I will be out of town on vacation with my beloved, and I will resume our live podcast on October 21st. So until next time, take care of yourself, be mindful, stay engaged, and revisit any of my previous podcasts for more meditations in the next 2 weeks. If you found this podcast through social media, please share which platform in the comments below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms to follow my journey. And join my exclusive community on Patreon at Integr8 Lyfe. Thank you for tuning in, listening, engaging, and being mindful with me today. Namaste.